Alright, what is going on, fellas? Welcome back. Once again, I just got out the gymnasium. I did have a flannel again this time, but it was the same one I wore in the last video, and I'm not gonna repeat flannels, okay? I'm just not. Nonetheless, we're here with the August film rankings. Once again, I went to the theaters 3 times this month, so not bad. You know, we're pulling up, we're showing up. I got fucking college going on right now, you know, and it's a full-time student, so real boss girl stuff going on. But nonetheless, we're gonna get into the film rankings. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna yap about it. So let's get into it. So we started off the month with not a banger. It was crazy too, because going into this, I was aware of the fact that every month I began with a banger. April, the Roman Reigns documentary. May, Fargo? Was it Fargo? I think it was Fargo. June, Godzilla. July, Metropolis. August 2nd, we watched 8.5. I briefly mentioned this film in the last video. I did attempt to watch it, but I just wasn't feeling it at the time. But August 2nd, I was feeling it. I was ready, I was prepared, I was locked in, and I didn't like it. It really hurt my feelings that I didn't like this film. It really hurt me. It hurt me deep inside. And also because I wanted to start the month with a banger, like I always do. 8.5, like I mentioned in the last video, it's a film that I've seen come across a lot of people's favorite 4s on Letterboxd. It's very popular among the cinema world, you know, the directors, actors. A lot of people really love 8.5. They have it as their favorite film of all time. So I really wanted to watch it, and I really wanted to like it. I wanted to like it. I wanted to, but I just didn't. 8.5, it's about this guy. He's a director, and he has people kind of pressuring him to make a new film, but he's kind of going through like a midlife crisis, kind of. He's having issues with like the women in his life, and he's like reminiscing on women in his life from like the past and present, but then he's trying to make this new film. It's a whole conundrum. I suppose if you're maybe a film director and you're really in the cinema industry, that you might relate to it more. I wouldn't say I'm a director. I make videos and stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I thought I would relate to it. That's also why I was excited to watch it based off the description. A motherfucker like me is always yearning. I'm always reminiscing about the previous women in my life. You know, and I'm constantly also kind of stuck with creative ideas, so I thought I would enjoy it. But it just didn't click with me, man. It just didn't no click. It didn't click. For a lot of the film, I just found myself to be confused and just kind of not interested. I really tried to. I think that's also part of the film too. I don't think it's coherent the whole time. I don't know, it's kind of confusing. For me, I found it to be confusing. I was confused a lot of the time, which made me be not interested, like I kind of mentioned right now. I did enjoy some dialogue. This film is in Italian, so I watched it with subtitles. A little side note, I never realized how similar the Italian language is to Spanish. Porque yo hablo español, soy mexicano, so, you know, watching the movie, I was like, yo, this is really similar to Spanish. It's also black and white, and I don't know, I wasn't really vibing with this black and white. This black and white was a little nasty. I'm sorry. It felt a little too bright. It wasn't very beautiful. We'll get into that later, black and white films. Yeah, 8.5, I'm sorry. It didn't connect with me, and I wasn't really feeling it. Shortly after I watched it though, later that night, I rewatched the first 10 minutes, and I automatically liked it more than my first watch. So what I feel is, I think I'll have to revisit 8.5 at some point in my life. And I think since I kind of already, you know, sometimes films get better with rewatches. You know, you can say that about songs. Sometimes you don't like an album the first time, but then you listen to it later in your life and you're like, oh wow, I like it now. I feel 8.5 is one of these, and I think I might like it some point down the line in my life. I will rewatch it one day, someday. Not today, but one day, 8.5, I will revisit it, because I do think I will like it more upon a rewatch. Now that I've just watched it once, I kind of know now what it's about and what happens, so maybe I could understand it better now. And who knows, maybe I'll go some more life experiences that will make me relate to it more and enjoy it more. With that being said, 8.5, gave it 2 stars. It hurts my feelings. I'm sorry. I know this is gonna offend some people. This is highly acclaimed, man. It's just meh. It was a meh for me. 2 stars, no heart. We're gonna put it in D tier. I think this is the first film I've put in the D tier. I'm sorry, 8.5, but D tier. All right, August 3rd, we watched Trap. Trap was my most anticipated film of August. I was looking forward to this one the most. I was the most excited for this one. As always, for me, going into films, the less I know, the better. I literally don't want to know anything. I never watch teasers. I never watch trailers. Maybe I'll see a clip, you know, maybe I'll see some screenshots, but I'll never watch a trailer. They show too fucking much these days. They be showing too much, man. For Trap, I just saw this little clip where he was talking to the employee and he was like, so what's going on here? And the fucking employee yapped his ass off. He's kind of like me and told him fucking everything, dumbass. And I just saw the way that M. Night talked about it. He described it as Taylor Swift concert meets Silence of the Lambs. That sounded very intriguing to me. And I was like, I'm in. I love Trap. I fucking love Trap. It was so fun to me. It was such a fun experience. I loved watching it. I enjoyed it. It's an original idea. People are always complaining, oh, there's no more original ideas in cinema anymore. This is original. Go watch it. Go support it. Josh Hartnett, he had an amazing performance. I've never really seen any of his work before. I have watched the Halloween movie he's in, but at the time, I didn't know that he was in it. I watched it last year in October. I watched all the Halloween movies. But yeah, his performance in this was insane. It was absolutely insane. It was a masterclass performance. The way he switches from girl dad to this fucking psychopath was absolute cinema. He really just gives me, he's so like, that motherfucker portrayed a psychopath so well, dude. Like, I'm like, it was annoying me how fucking sociopathic he was. I guess his character Cooper has OCD. OCD Kings rise up. That's a letterbox comment I liked. You guys in my YouTube channel don't know this. Many people in my life don't know this, but the close ones to my chest do, and I guess now you will too. I actually have OCD. Yeah, I know. And yes, I am professionally diagnosed. It's not just something I came up with. I literally have it. I live with it daily. So it's nice to see some OCD representation in the medias, even if it's from a psycho killer. But yeah, I found it to be really thrillery. It was really just kind of like a ride. It was a ride. It was ups and downs. It was fun. It is flawed though. There is some flaws, you know, because my biggest complaint is how this motherfucker Cooper managed to slither his way out of so many situations, dude. Like, Cooper has the craziest plot armor I've ever seen. Aside from Batman, his plot armor in this film was fucking godlike, dude. I swear, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, do you guys fucking suck? The FBI agents in this, the employees, they suck. They need to be fired. I'm like, y'all trying to catch this like crazy murderer, serial killer, psychopath, and you guys are this loose, this disorganized? Like, be for real. That's really my only complaint about it, was just how fucking stupid the employees were in this. The whole concert aspect of it though, I felt like I was at a concert. I've only been to few in my life, but like I said, M. Night said this was inspired from a Taylor Swift concert, and I really got Taylor Swift concert vibes watching this. More Olivia Rodrigo vibes, which kind of is Taylor Swift. Olivia Rodrigo, she's kind of like Taylor Swift Jr., you know? So I got those kind of vibes watching. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It really felt like a concert. I guess it did technically throw like a concert for this movie. So one of my favorite shots in this whole film is when like they focus on Cooper's face and there's like red lighting. It's such a good shot. It really shows how he feels in that moment. He feels trapped. I guess another kind of complaint I have was that at the end, I think towards the end, it felt a little stretched towards the end. I think they stretched it a little too much for my liking. 15-20 minutes too long, but it's okay. I still liked it. And then once again, like I was saying about the agents, I can't believe these agents let this man fuck around with the bike after they handcuffed him. What are they thinking, dude? The plot armor on this dude is insane. They, like, in real life, they would never let any like a dude like this who they just arrested mess with anything, and they let him mess with a bike. Like, my god, it's annoying. With that being said, Trap, we gave that bitch 4.5 stars. And this is a lesson I learned this month. I was conflicted with my rating at first because I rate my movies and then I look at what other people rated it and what they reviewed it. And the ratings at that time when I watched it, they were not that high. There were like a lot of 3 stars, a lot of 2 stars. And then I felt conflicted. I'm like, oh, maybe I should change my rating. And that's like one of the first times I've really experienced this feeling where I felt like I should adjust my rating based on other people's ratings. It was weird. But yeah, I learned a lesson that day. Lesson is, fuck those people. This is my opinion. This is how I feel about the movie. And I felt it was 4.5 stars. I loved it. I enjoyed it. It's personally one of my favorite films of this year so far. You know, everybody has different tastes, you know, different strokes, different folks. But yeah, Trap, 4.5 stars. We gave that bitch a heart. Loved it. Amazing. Original film idea. Big fan. M. Night. Shout out M. Night. Trap's going up in A tier. A tier. August 5th, we watched The Trial. The Trial, where did I see The Trial? I saw The Trial on YouTube. In my recommendations, there was this lady who reviewed The Trial, and I just clicked on it. I watched maybe like a minute about it, and then it seemed interesting, so then I looked up the description about it, and I was like, oh, all right, this sounds saucy. I thought it was on HBO Max. So I'm like, I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out. So for me, The Trial, I tried watching it on August 4th, but that day I was very sleep deprived. So when I was watching it, I ended up falling asleep like 30 minutes into it. And that's just not fair to the movie. So I'm like, okay, we'll try this some other time. I'll watch it some other day. Literally the next day, August 5th, I watched it again, and I fully watched it. I finished it. So earlier I was talking about black and white films and how 8.5 was kind of ugly. It looked too bright, you know? But The Trial, I think, at least so far in my life, the most beautiful and aesthetically pleasing black and white film I've ever seen. Holy shit, this is gorgeous. Check out some screenshots, maybe a clip or two. This movie is so beautiful. It looks so good. The black and white, it's perfect. Black and white, I've never seen black and white like this. It looks so good. This film is directed by, oh man, I don't want to get this wrong. Orson Welles, I believe. I didn't know this until after I watched it, but he directed Citizen Kane. He's a guy. I didn't know this. Citizen Kane, of course, it's an essential film. One I haven't watched yet, but one I will watch at some point. So to watch some of his work, I'm thankful. I'm glad I did. The Trial also stars Anthony Perkins. And it's crazy because last month, Longlegs, directed by his son, Oz Perkins. And this month, I watched a movie with his dad, Anthony Perkins. It's just so insane. I swear to God, everything's connected in my life. And speaking about connections, The Trial, it's an adaptation from Kafka, from one of his, I think it's from one of his books or letters. I think one of his books. And it's crazy because around late July, early August on Twitter, I was seeing so many Kafka journey entries, like a lot. So after watching this and finding out that it's an adaptation from a Kafka book, I was like, wow, dude, like the synchronicities in my life are fucking on some bullshit. But the story, The Trial, the story, the actual film, I loved it. I was confused like maybe for the first 30 minutes, but the thing is, the movie, it's a dream. The whole movie's a dream. So a lot of the movie, it's incoherent. A lot of it doesn't make sense at times, but that's the point. That's how a dream is supposed to be. And I love it. I think I briefly mentioned in the last video, I love dreams. I'm a big dreamer. I dream fucking damn near every night. I dream a lot. And not just that, I tend to remember my dreams. So I love dreams. I love dissecting dreams. Watching this film and seeing a dream, like it was so good, dude. Like it really feels like they somehow got someone's brain and they recorded a whole sleep session and then exported it to make it a film. Like literally I could see this whole film being an actual dream someone dreamt. Like it's that good. For example, right at the beginning of the film, the guy Anthony Perkins portrays, he wakes up, right? And then there's like these police that are interrogating him, and he goes into the next room, and then just randomly like his coworkers are there. It makes no sense, but that's how shit would be in a fucking dream. Shit makes no sense in a dream, and it's just, you have to watch it. It's amazing. But yeah, The Trial, it was a fun film, has a lot of beautiful shots as well, beautiful cinematography. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Most beautiful black and white film I've ever seen. We gave that bitch 4 stars and we gave it a heart. With that being said, The Trial, we're gonna put that bitch in A tier. A tier. All right. August 7th, we watched Easy A. Can you believe I've never watched Easy A? Only reason I watched Easy A was because I confused it with Superbad. I have watched Superbad before, but it was a long time ago. It was like 2017 maybe. And recently on Instagram Reels, I saw the clip where Jonah Hill's character, I think it's Jonah Hill, he was like, oh, could you scratch my back? But my back's my dick or some shit. I saw that clip and I don't know, it made me want to watch it. And I thought it was Easy A. I was wrong. Nonetheless though, Easy A is a movie I gotta see, you know what I mean? I've never watched it. I've been meaning to watch it at some point in my life, so I watched it. Easy A was A really classic 2010s comedy. It really gives you the early 2010 comedy vibes, you know, like the Superbads, Crazy Stupid Love, you know, that kind of shit. Even though I've never seen Crazy Stupid Love, but they're all kind of like the same genre, you know. It was a fun movie, you know. It's got Emma Stone in it. You already know Emma Stone's my goat. I love Emma Stone. Anything Emma Stone's in, I will watch. I love Emma Stone. I need to watch Kind of Kindness and Poor Things. I haven't watched yet. The cast is low-key a little stacked, you know. It's got the guy that plays Sandman in Spider-Man 3. It's got Phoebe from Friends. What's that fool's name? Penn Badgley, he's in it. You know, it's a nice little cast. Amanda Bynes as well, she's in it. She's cool. The thing about this movie is I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I watched it when I was in high school, when I was a little younger. But I still enjoyed it nonetheless. I just think I would have liked it more if I was, you know, 15, 16, 17-ish. I love the credits. I like the way they did the opening credits and the ending credits. You don't really see too many creative kind of credits like that anymore, and I really enjoyed that, and I miss things like that. It's really fun, and it adds a lot of like soul to it, I feel. But yeah, Easy A, it was cool. It's pretty funny. It's a Will Gluck film, which is crazy because he directed Anyone But You, which I watched last month. I didn't know he directed this until after I watched it, so I was like, wow, this guy, he's a guy, huh? He be making these rom-coms like nothing. But yeah, Easy A, it was cool. Gave it 3 stars, average rating. Nothing too crazy, but didn't suck. It was cool. I did give it a heart. And Easy A, put it up in B tier. August 10th, we watched Fallen Angels. Fallen Angels, I've been meaning to watch it. It showed up on the like recommendation things after I finished watching Chungking Express. Same director. I don't know how to say his name. I'm not gonna try to say it because I don't want to butcher it, but this is his name right here. This guy, he's a guy. He knows how to direct, man. This dude's a genius. I watched it because around this time on Twitter, I was seeing a lot of screenshots about it, and it looks like a beautiful film. And knowing that it's the same director as Chungking Express, I was like, okay, I'll bite. And it's like a romance movie, and you already know I love romance. I'm a certified lover boy, no drizzy. Fallen Angels, it was once again, it was kind of confusing. Just like Chungking Express, I thought it was a little confusing, but this time it wasn't confusing like the way I found Chungking Express confusing, but it was just confusing because of the language, you know. It's in Chinese. I don't know Chinese. I do have subtitles on, but like it still takes me a minute to kind of process everything. Aside from being confused and I'm fully getting that, it is a beautiful movie, amazing cinematography. Like I'm saying, this guy knows his stuff. He knows how to shoot films. It's very quotable, very memorable. I think my favorite quote was about, he was talking about this girl, and he was like, I thought the fling that she had with this guy would expire soon, but it turns out my expiration date came first. I felt that. Once again, the film utilizes music really well. It put me on the song Only You by the Flying something. I forgot the last word, but Only You by the Flying something. I love it. This movie put me on it. So you guys already know, combination of amazing shots with music. I'm a fan. I love it. It was greatly done. But the thing about his films is, I feel the more they marinate with you, the better they get. Originally, I had this at 3.5 stars, but then I just kept thinking about it and kind of rewatching things. And then later that night, I officially rated it 4 stars. So we gave it 4 stars, but no hearts. It didn't really touch me like that, but it was pretty good. With that being said, cool watch. Romance, I love it. But we'll put it in B tier. Also, I thought it was funny how he keeps talking about his fucking expired pineapples. This dude and his expired pineapples. All right, August 11th, we watched Garden State. Garden State, I've seen clips on it on Instagram a lot where he's talking to Natalie Portman's character, and she's like, "Are you really retarded?" And then he's like, "No." And then she's like, "Cool, man." So that's the only clip I've seen. I saw it again around this time, so it intrigued me. It lured me in. But yeah, watching this like 5 minutes into it, I knew it was gonna be a banger. It was insane. This movie, it's kind of the case where I watched it at the right time in my life, so that really impacted my rating on it. I found this film to be so relatable. The story, it's not anything crazy, you know, the stakes aren't insane. It's not a crazy adventure. It's just this guy that's returning to his hometown reconnecting with people in his life, kind of going through a personal journey, and I heavily related to that at that time, and I feel like I just needed this film. It came to me at the right time. It's insane how things work. It utilizes music so well in this, and the soundtrack is fantastic. It's absolutely superb. But yeah, I just related so much to the character, you know. Around this time, I was reminiscing a lot on 2014, 10 years ago. I'm not gonna go in depth about it. I'm not gonna get personal, but for me, 2014 was a really like just life-changing year for me, that school year. And just it being 10 years later, I've just been thinking about it a lot. I've been looking back on it a lot. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like an anniversary kind of thing. So in this movie, this guy, he's returning to his hometown for his mom's funeral. He stays for like a week. He's reconnecting to old people. I personally wasn't reconnecting to anybody, but I was just kind of looking back on it in retrospect, so a little similar. Unfortunately, at this moment, I can't remember the character's name, but just the journey the main character, the guy, was going through in this film, I just feel like I'm kind of going through something similar, and a lot of the things he said really stuck with me. At this point, the college hadn't started for me yet. I'm a freshman. I'm 23, so he had this quote that I don't think I'm gonna say word for word, but the quote was basically, he said, "I don't think it's too much to take on because it's all there is. I see now it's all there is." That just, it touched me, man. That it just resonated with me. I felt that. I felt like I needed to hear that because I'm taking on some new, you know, some new things, and I'm excited but also nervous, you know. So I felt like I needed that. Also, his character, he decides to stop taking medication for, I think, anxiety. I went through something similar once because, like I mentioned in this video, I have OCD. So when I was first diagnosed with OCD, I was taking Zoloft. Not a fan. I took it for a bit. So I related to his character in that way also, because the way that he just decided to stop taking it, he didn't like how it made him feel. I didn't like how Zoloft made me feel. I stopped taking it after a couple months. So I related to those things too. Aside from that, the actual film, I think it has some great shots, some great cinematography. I love the way he shoots like kind of the shots where he's kind of like blanking out, where he's zoning out. I feel like that's really how it feels like. I also really like the scene where he goes to visit the guy on this like boat hanging from an abyss. I love that scene, how he's like, "Good luck in the abyss," or "Good luck in the void." He says something like that, but it's just like, it's just so good. It's really like coming of age type shit, you know. And of course, I love the romance in this. I love Natalie Portman's character in this. I've never heard the word manic pixie dream girl so much in my fucking life. I've literally never seen that word in my life until after I watched this. After I watch movies, I like seeing what people think, what people are saying, and I saw that word so fucking much. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is roughly what it means. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I've never heard this word before. I was like, Jesus Christ, I guess she's a manic pixie girl. I don't know. I was rocking with Natalie Portman's character. I loved her character. I love the romance in this. I love romance. I love love. The ending was a little cliche though. I will say that. That's like my only thing. The ending was cliche. And the dog fucking his leg part was so weird to me. I'm like, did you really have to show that? Did you really have to show a dog humping your leg? Those are just my 2 weeks about the movie. I'm like, be for real. And also like the scene where he's talking to his dad about being okay with not being okay. I related to that a lot too as well. It's just, to sum it up, Garden State, I needed this movie at this time and I loved it. I got emotional at times, very relatable, great watch to me. I gave it 5 stars. I was surprised I gave it 5 stars. And this also kind of goes back to the trap thing I was saying, where this movie isn't highly rated. I thought it was going to be like a very 4 or 5 stars average rating. It wasn't. Average rating is like 3 stars. So once again, I was like, oh, maybe I should change my rating. But no, fuck that. This is a 5-star movie to me and I loved it. I also gave it a heart. So with that being said, Garden State, great watch. S tier, baby. All right, August 13th, we watched Cuckoo. Cuckoo was my second most anticipated film of this month. Hunter Schafer little horror film. Here's the thing about this film was I arrived late to my showing. I'm sorry. That was so rude of me, so disrespectful. I know, I felt it. I arrived like 5 to 10 minutes late to my showing, so off the bat, I automatically didn't really feel that immersed into it. But yeah, the whole movie, I felt like there was something missing. I assumed that was because I missed the first 5 to 10 minutes, but then I looked at what people were saying and their reviews, and a lot of people said similar things, that it felt like it was missing something, like a component to it. So I guess it just wasn't me. I guess I didn't miss as much as I thought I missed. Yeah, that was my main thing about Cuckoo. I just felt like it was missing something. I like what they were trying to do. Once again, it's kind of an original idea. I haven't seen anything like it before, but just some of the things they were trying to do just didn't really land, you know what I mean? I did find it to be quite spooky at times. Those little weird, I don't know, monster things that were like hunting, those were creepy. Those were kind of terrifying. It's quite unsettling at times with like the visuals, like that weird goo shit. Ew, that shit was gross. Hunter Schafer, she killed this role. It was fun seeing her as a final girl. I thought she did great. I didn't agree with her character's decision though to all of a sudden save her sister. And you know, I kind of saw that coming. You know how movies are. Beginning of the movie, no, you're not my family. By the end, you know, they're all like Vin Diesel family, you know what I mean? I don't know, I thought they should have just bopped her, you know what I mean? Because she's like a little hybrid monster thing. I don't know, but I guess she's innocent, so whatever. It was really nothing too crazy though. Interesting watch, but like I said, it just feels like it's missing something. It didn't completely land, didn't completely stick. I gave Cuckoo 3 stars. It was kind of 2.5 stars or 3 stars, but I did kind of enjoy it, so 3 stars seems just kind of fine for me. No heart. We'll put Cuckoo in C tier. It was alright. It was alright. Alright. August 15th, we watched Alien. For the first time in my life, I watched an Alien film, man. It's kind of weird. The Alien franchise in my life, it's never been in my sights. I've never really acknowledged it. I know about the Alien Isolation game, and I know about, I guess technically Alien versus Predator, but like I never really acknowledged the franchise Alien. I've never really thought about it. I've never really seen it. I watched Alien because I wanted to watch Alien Romulus later that month. So in preparation for that, I watched Alien, since the new one takes place between Alien 1 and Alien 2. Alien, absolute cinema. I loved it. It was amazing. Oh my god, I can't believe it took me this long to see it. Alien was just peak science fiction. And also in watching this, it reminded me that science fiction is one of my favorite genres. I forget about it. I'm always so focused on like horror and rom-coms that I forget I love science fiction. Metropolis last month, for example. I'm a big fan of the science fictions. Alien was fantastic, man. It was really immersive. It was really suspenseful and thrillery. It was really well done. It has a lot of long shots, and I love it because it works perfectly. You need those long shots. You need it. I love the sets, the world building, man. It felt so realistic. And like I said, I was really immersed into this. I was so into this. I watched this at like 2 a.m, and man, it was amazing. It was a great watch, you know. And I watched it with loud volume too. The cast was fantastic in this. I thought they really meshed well with each other, considering they're on a space mission. They've been out there for months together, and I felt the film really nailed that aspect of it. When I was first watching this, like the first 10 minutes, it kind of reminded me of Star Wars a little bit. And then guess what, man, I'm telling you guys about these synchronicities in my life. The next morning when I opened up Twitter, I saw this post that said Ridley Scott, the director of Alien, that he made Alien because he watched Star Wars like 3 years before that, and he got depressed, and so then he made Alien because of Star Wars 1, The New Hope. And I was just like, wow, that's insane, because just like 6 hours before that at nighttime when I was watching it, I was like, this reminds me of Star Wars a little bit. But yeah, Alien was great. Perfect. Shout out Ripley, Boss Girl, the cat, Jonesy. Oh my god, I love seeing the cat. When I saw the cat, I smiled, bro. I love cats. I'm a cat guy. I got a little cat nephew. Her name's Toast. Fuck Ash. Fuck that science officer Ash. He's a bitch. One thing I didn't like about the film though was that Ash was an android. I thought it'd be more kind of intense and just kind of sinister if it was a real human making these like evil decisions, you know what I mean? Sacrificing the whole crew for this alien sample. I thought it would have just been more sinister that way. But I guess in the Alien universe, androids are a thing. It's well established at this point. I didn't know that at that point, this being my first Alien movie. But knowing that now, I'm like, okay, fine. Androids are cool. Also, the score in this is so perfect. I don't know, it's just something about OSTs back in the day. They just like hit different, and Alien is no exception. The soundtrack for this was amazing. But yeah, dude, Alien, peak science fiction, amazing experience, very immersive, great horror science fiction. Gave that bitch 5 stars, heart, and you guys already know, Alien's going up in the S tier. Alright, so August 17th, 2 days later, we watched Alien Romulus. I don't know how to pronounce that, so that's just how I'm pronouncing it. So yeah, like I said, I watched Alien 1 in preparation for this, and I loved it. I loved Alien Romulus. Originally, I didn't really care about this film. I wasn't gonna watch it, but I saw that it was a horror sci-fi, which, like I just said, I love. And 2, I saw Kaylee Spaney was in it. I'm a Kaylee Spaney fan. After watching Priscilla, I became a fan of hers. And then I've also been meaning to watch Civil War, which I know she's in, and that's why I want to watch it. Also because Kirsten Dunst is in it. Seeing that Kaylee Spaney's in this and that it's a horror science fiction, I was in. Give me a ticket. Yeah, Alien was great. I think it was a great film for the Alien franchise. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with any other Alien movies, so I can't really like say too much or compare it to anything else. But I thought this movie paid great homage to Alien 1. It was really good. It was done really well, and not in a like cringy, forceful kind of way. I think it all blended well. It was really smooth. Amazing cinematography, dude. Beautiful ass film. It was so beautiful. It was a great cinematic experience. I watched it in the cinemas, so I feel like if you have the chance to, probably by the time this video goes up, I don't think it'll be in the cinemas anymore, but it was an amazing cinematic experience, you know, with the audio, the big screen. There was a lot of parts in the film where it's just dead quiet, and then boom, you know, it was amazing. I love the soundtrack in this as well, just like I did with Alien. It had a really good soundtrack. I loved it. Oh, I loved Andy, man. Shout out Andy. Andy has the actor, great job, masterclass performance. He kind of played 2 characters, you know, this nice guy, nice Andy, and then evil, corrupted Andy. He did a great job switching back and forth between those. I felt so bad for Andy, man. Shout out my boy Andy, bro. Jesus. I enjoyed the world building in this film as well. It really kind of gives you a feel for the universe. Because like I said, I'm not too familiar with the Alien universe. So the way the movie began, it gave me kind of more input and insight on how the universe works. Like the way that they denied Rains, like I guess she was done with her working hours, and then they added more, probably illegally, you know what I mean? That seemed really fucked up. So that just kind of shows how the corporations and how humans are just treated in that world. Disposable. Just like in the first film. The last 30 minutes of this film were fucking peak cinema, dude. That shit was insane to me. That weird, nasty, like human xenomorph combo. Ugh, man, that shit was crazy. When I was watching that, my jaw dropped, bro. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, what is this? That was intense, man. And speaking of that, Isabella Merced, I believe that's her name. That scream she did. Peak cinema, brother. Peak fucking cinema. That was one of the greatest screams in horror I've heard recently, dude. S tier fucking scream. But there were some things I didn't like. For one, I thought there was too many aliens. Like I said, I don't know how the other movies are, but I didn't like the fact that there were like so many aliens in this film. I feel like it kind of ruins it a little bit, you know. I would have liked there to have just been one main bad boy, you know what I mean? And I personally, going into this, assumed that the alien for the first movie, he was gonna be the one in this movie. I assumed he was gonna be floating in space and like land on their ship, and then that's what it was gonna be about. I was wrong, but yeah, too many aliens for my liking, man. I felt like it was too much, a little oversaturated with aliens. Calm down. I didn't like how they killed the asshole dude, the dude that kept fucking bullying Andy. I didn't like how he died. This sounds so evil, but like I wanted that fool to die in a more suffering kind of way. That fool was annoying. I didn't like his character. He was a bitch. I thought he should have died a more gruesome death. But I guess his death was pretty bad. He died with like acid and shit, so anyway, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't satisfying for me, brother. That's not gonna work for me, brother. And then I didn't like how Isabella Merced's character, I didn't like how she injected herself with that weird shit. Why did she do that? I didn't think she had to do that. She was fine. It's not like it really did anything for her, except make this evil, fucking weird looking human hybrid thing. Disgusting. But yeah, those are really my only complaints about it. Not really like bad enough to impact how I feel about the movie, but complaints nonetheless. But Alien Romulus, great installment to the franchise. I loved it. Great homage to Alien. Kaylee Spaney, MVP. I love her. She was great in this. Final girl, boss girl, amazing. I gave this film 4 stars and I gave it a heart. Alien Romulus is going up in A tier, brother. And then this one kind of doesn't really count, but I'll say it anyways. August 20th, I rewatched Deadpool and Wolverine. On this morning, I was just on YouTube and I saw this video that said Deadpool and Wolverine full movie. And I'm like, there's no way. It was the full fucking movie. I was like, what? It was like kind of a rewatch because the first hour I kind of skimmed through it. I just watched parts that I wanted to rewatch. But then the whole second half of the movie, I basically watched the whole thing. So I do consider it a rewatch. And yeah, so I kind of rewatched it and I loved it. I love Deadpool and Wolverine, man. That's a fun movie. I said what I felt in regards to it in the last video, so if you want my thoughts on it, check out the last video. Yeah, I kind of rewatched it. Yeah, fellas, that was what I watched in August. My movie watchings kind of slowed down after that because I started school. The week before I started school, I was really busy. I was doing a lot, and then school actually started. And once school started, man, I underestimated how much free time I would have. No time, and I really realized I gotta lock in, real boss girl up. Unfortunately, for the remainder of August, I just didn't have a lot of time to watch films, and it was hard for me. Today, on this day, today's September 2nd, I did watch a film. I watched Blink twice. So, 2 weeks, I didn't watch a film, bro. It was hurting my feelings. I was going through withdrawals, man. I love films. It's like therapy, I swear. I love it. But yeah, that's what I watched in August. Pretty fun month, pretty solid. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. As always, leave down in the comments, you know, things that you guys watched in this month or things that you guys have been watching. Little discussions. I love yapping. Until the next video, peace out, players. Happy watching. Swoop. Boo.